Hello, we are Alyssa Maros
And Lisa Effner.
of Cadet Girl Scout Troop 2068 of Zionsville. We want to help you plan for your high adventure canoe trip. We recently took a canoe trip at Boundary Waters in Ely, Minnesota, and would like to share what we learned. We hope that our experience will make yours more enjoyable.
The first thing you'll need to do is plan your route because it will influence many other things. One thing you will need to take into consideration will be that your group members are interested in. They might want to see waterfalls, pictographs, or wildlife. If you want to fish, you might want to look at good fishing spots. BWCA.com is an excellent resource for planning. Another thing should take into consideration is the time of year. You would want to do that because many things will change over the course of a year, like how many bugs there are, the temperature, and the weather. You should think about how far you want to go and if you want to travel every day or do base camp day. You will need to consider how many portages and what length you are willing to do. Be sure to take consideration the abilities of your group as well. You will also need to find an entry town near your entry point. For Boundary Waters, we went out of Ely. The other options are Grand Maris, Isabella, and Toff. Once you plan your route, you will need to find a good outfitter for what you want. You might want to have a complete outfitting or partial outfitting. The grand scheme of things, we found that a full outfitting was cheaper. In a full outfitting, most, if not all, of the group's equipment you will need will be given to you by the outfitters. We suggest comparing at least 5 outfitters. You can also speak with people who have been in similar trips for recommendations. We loved our outfitters and will include their contact information at the end of this presentation. We would want to look closely at what is offered and what is not. You will be responsible for your personal stuff like clothing and toiletries. Many outfitters have a bunk room or lodge available for you for the night before you leave. Most outfitters will charge you extra to use it, but it is cheaper than most hotels. You will need to decide if you want Kevlar or aluminum canoes. Kevlar is lighter, but aluminum is cheaper. We used Kevlar canoes for our trip. You will need to get permits to go into Boundary Waters. Many outfitters include obtaining this for you in the outfitting package. For the permits, you will need the entry date, the entry point, how many canoes, and how many people are in your party. For Boundary Waters, you may only have 9 people in your group. This limit is strictly enforced. You and your outfitter will be fined if you not follow this rule. You will need to fill out a second different permit if you plan to go into Canada. Permits are issued on a first come, first served basis, beginning the last Wednesday in January. To be ready, you probably would want to start planning your trip in the late summer or fall before you plan to go, in order to get any needed training. As far as the permit process, you will need to watch their Leave No Trace videos. Cans and glass are not permitted in the Boundary Water, so plan accordingly. If you're going as a part of an organization, maybe you require training. For instance, Girl Scouts require us to have a small watercraft and CPR certification. If possible, it is advisable to have more than one person trained. There's an overnight travel one and a high use form. Be sure to check with your organization to make sure you have everything you need. Another important step of the planning process is telling people where you will be. Obtaining a trip itinerary from your outfitters. This itinerary includes things such as the trip leaders' names, where you plan to go, entry point, anticipated exit point, entry day, exit date, outfitters' names and phone numbers, and the nearest ranger's phone number. Keep in mind that the weather may delay exit date or change exit point.
A very important item that you need to have on you always is a map of the area and waterproof casing. A compass is also a handy tool to determine which way you're going. As well as those two things, there are other miscellaneous but important items needed when going on your high adventure canoe trip. The sit-upons we used are similar to mini egg cartons and provide support. On Amazon, it is called Red Camp Foam Hiking Seat Pad. These are very durable. It folds into quarters and is comfortable when you both sit and kneel in a canoe. A saw is also a convenient item to have in case you have to cut dead logs for firewood. Always make sure you have a first aid kit and medical supplies with you while you're traveling. Carabiners are small metal clips that allow you to clip things such as water bottles and rain gear to Duluth packs on portages. They also allow for instant shelter in case of disaster. Take two corners of a tarp, wrap them around a tree, and carabiner the holes in the two corners together. Sit on the other sides of the tarp so it doesn't fly up, and put Duluth packs around. Some very important cooking equipment are some burner or slash fuel or matches slash fire starters, some pots and pans to cook your food in, silverware to eat your food with, and plates and bowls. To wash out the dishes, bring a collapsible plastic bin and a drip dry bag so the dishes can dry quicker. Bring camp suds or biodegradable soap to wash the dishes with, as well as steel wool or other dishwashing supplies. Also bring extra trash bags. Please remember to bring personal toiletries such as deodorant and toothbrush, as they will not be provided by your outfitter. Also, remember to bring toilet paper and plastic so it doesn't get wet, and a small shovel for managing waste. Since you're going to be outdoors for many days, it is important to pack bug spray and sunscreen. There are a lot of bugs outdoors that can bite you, such as ticks, flies, and mosquitoes. While it is very unlikely, some ticks can carry Lyme disease and some mosquitoes can carry malaria. Spray yourself with lots of DEET according to package instructions to keep bugs away, making it a lot less likely to get bitten. Bug nets keep bugs from flying into your face. Also, since most parts of the water are not covered by shade, you will need to put sunscreen on exposed areas of skin to make sure you don't get a sunburn. Another way you can protect yourself from getting sunburnt is wearing a rash guard. This is a long sleeve garment. And long, lightweight pants. This is to prevent bugs. Hats with chin straps keep your scalp from getting burned. You should wear a bathing suit underneath those. Keep in mind that these clothes are not what you're going to wear on land. Bring regular camping clothes for the designated number of days and space you have. For instance, we were out for 5 days and 4 nights. We brought one pair of water clothes, one pair of camping clothes, and one pair of pajamas. Hiking sandals work well as water shoes and are great for portaging. Since the weather forecast does not always match up, bring a good mix of clothing meant for warm weather as well as clothing meant for cold weather. Also, bring a rain suit. Frog Togs is the brand we used, in case it rains a lot while you are on water or land. Here is the whole packing list.
When packing for this trip, you must keep in mind that there isn't much space for personal items. Try to fit everything you need into a large paper bag or 20-liter dry bag. This will be about the size of a dry bag. The more things you fit it in your pack, the harder it will be to carry on portages. You will store all your personal items like clothes, toiletries, and sleeping bags in the dry bags. And the things in Ziploc bags do not need to be kept in a dry bag. You will need to fold the dry bag down 3 times to keep the water out. You will also need to pack equipment. Some outfitters will pack your equipment for you. The best way to stay organized is to pack things that go together. You might want to pack the Duluth packs full so you don't need to make more trips than necessary. With the packs, you can pack them less full so it is easier to carry, but you will need more trips. Also, distribute weight evenly for each pack. Everything that you need to bring with you will go in the Duluth packs. You will be able to carry 3 20-liter dry bags in each Duluth pack. The packs are like large backpacks so that you can carry them on portages. One Duluth pack will be your bear box. It will be a different type of Duluth pack. Inside the bear box pack, there will be a cardboard box inside a plastic bag. This is where you will keep your food. It will come with a hook that will be used to hang it. You will carry all the gear and canoes during portages. Because of that, be sure to plan out your portages based on the skill of your group. The canoes we used, Kevlar, are lighter, 45 to 50 pounds. More expensive, but aluminum canoes are heavier, but cheaper. Pick out your designated canoe carrier. Help them get the canoe onto their shoulders. Keep in mind that the canoes have yokes to help with carrying. Packs during portages can play a huge role in many things. The lighter the pack, the easier it is to carry, but it causes you to make more trips back and forth. On the other hand, heavier packs are harder to carry, but they take less trips. The unit of measurement on portages are rods, and a rod is about the length of a canoe, 16.5 feet. This means that an 80-rod portage is about a fourth of a mile.
Another thing that is just as important as food is water. Since you most likely won't be able to bring enough filtered water from home for all your needs for the entire canoe trip, you will need a water filtration system. Different systems will be needed for different times of the year. For May and June, when the water is cooler, you will only need to use one form of purification. One purification you can use is a gravity bag. Paddle your canoe 30 to 40 feet away from the shore where there are no beavers. They carry a parasite that causes diarrhea. Collect a big bottle of water, then paddle back to shore. Connect your filter to the first tube, then connect the second tube to the filter. Pour the dirty water into the bag after you've hung it from a branch. Collect water from the lower portion of the system. However, in hotter months, you will need to use two purification systems. Other ways of treating water include tablets, boiling the water, and using an ultraviolet light pen. You will then use that water for drinking, making food, and washing dishes. Be sure to bring a collapsible plastic bin to wash your dishes in. Fill that bin with filtered water and use camp suds, biodegradable soap, seal wool, or other tools for washing dishes most likely provided by your outfitter. Also, you will need to make sure that your soap is biodegradable since it will be dumped in nature. Anytime you have dirty used water, you will need to dump it 200 feet from the shore by the latrines. This is what the latrine looks like. There is one at every campsite.
The food you will pack will most likely be dried. It is that way because it will be easier to transport. Most food you will just have to add water, boiling water, to cook it if it needs to be prepared. We would recommend that if you get food that you do not have to prepare when you need to eat it for breakfast or lunch. It would be extra work to get all the equipment out just for lunch. You should bring a box to keep the bread safe and a cooler for cold days. You have it. A lot of animals might try to eat your food. The main one that tried to steal ours were chipmunks. Our main concerns were bears. So make sure you do not have food in your tent. You should store the food in bear boxes overnight so animals will not be able to get your food. You will also put things that smell strong like deodorant and toothpaste. The bear boxes will be hung on a sturdy branch with the bottom of the bag 8 to 10 feet off the ground. You will need 2 ropes to hang a bear box. One will be used to hang it from the branch and the other will be tied to another tree trunk to pull it away from the trees. Some campsites do not have a good branch, so make sure your campsite you pick has a good branch for the box. Someone will need to be good at throwing to get the rope over. We recommend practice slaying the rope and tying knots. Half hitches. Step 1. Find a tree that has a sturdy branch to hang the bear bag from. The bag needs to be 8 to 10 feet off the ground and 3 feet from the trunk of the tree. Step 2. Throw the rope with the fastener over the branch. This may take a few tries. Step 3. Fasten the clip to the bag. Step 4. Tie a separate rope to one of the side handles. Step 5. Hoist the bag. It is heavy. You will need teamwork. Step 6. Tie off the bag around the trunk of the tree. Step 7. Tie the separate rope to another tree to pull the bag away from the trunk.
When going on your canoe trip, be sure to track the weather beforehand and bring a weather radio with you to be prepared and bring the right equipment for the weather. A weather radio will come in handy in case there's a pop-up natural disaster such as forest fires or tornadoes while you're out on a trip. If you see fire, get into the water with your life jackets as fast as you can and tip your canoe over your head so you have fresh air to breathe. Stay there until someone comes to get you. If there is a tornado, tornado warning, or other unsafe conditions such as hail, get in the lowest part of the ground you can find, a ditch or divot, on land, and cover your neck and head with your hands. Try to cover yourself up with something heavy such as a Duluth pack or shelter yourself and create a windbreaker with more packs or a canoe. It's also important to know when it is safe to canoe and what to do in these natural disasters. If you can feel a heavy wind or rain, it is not safe to go on the water. A sign of heavy wind is very big waves with whitecaps. Whitecaps are when a wave is so big it curves and you can see the white foam on top. If whitecaps or strong wind starts when you are on water, be sure to lean your weight toward the waves so you don't get tipped over. If being on the water is dangerous, try to get to the nearest land as quickly as you can. Another important way to be safe on the water is to always wear a life jacket and consider carrying emergency equipment such as a thermal blanket on you. There is also a different aspect of safety on a canoe trip. While on land, you will encounter animals. Some may be dangerous, some not. To be prepared for these animals, make sure you research the animals in the area before you go and ask your outfitters about any animal dangers. One common dangerous animal is the bear. Bears like to stay away from humans but are attracted to food and smelly things. As talked about before, put a bear bag up with all your trash and food. Finally, one of the main things about canoeing is being flexible and prepared. While camping, something might happen that will completely change your plans and might not be the most ideal thing. This might be dangerous weather or a medical problem. If something like this happens, get together as a group and decide the most ideal alternate plan.
When picking your campsite, make sure there is enough room for tents and hammocks. Look for level ground for the tents as well as a bare bag, a tree that has a branch 10 feet off the ground so that you can throw a rope over. As well as that, make sure to keep the weather in mind. If a storm is coming, try to look for a windbreak campsite. This trip helped us build courage, character, and confidence. We found the courage to go on a new type of adventure. We also found the ability to remain flexible and adapt to changing circumstances. We met the mental and physical challenges we were faced with by utilizing teamwork and previous Girl Scout experiences. We both felt our confidence in our camping and survival abilities grew significantly. We hope that you decide to go on an adventure like ours. Have a fun canoe trip.
Here are some links and additional information. And here are our cited sources.